Next co-host on, Mike Brown. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being here.
No problem, no problem. I love that. The art of letting go.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Can you tell our audience who you are and what you do?
So my name is Mike Brown. I host a podcast called The Art of Letting Go. I'm an artist, a musician, author, public speaker, educator. I do a little bit of everything.
And this is awesome to have another fellow podcaster that I like to say, after all of my digging and being nosy, hey, let the mentee be schooled. Okay. I love it. I was so like pumped for this interview. I was for several reasons, but your website, listening and tuning into a couple of your podcast episodes, this is something that we need to be encouraging, that
Yeah,
we
I
need to
appreciate that.
bring in the space and highlight more for what people are not really, I shouldn't say accepting, but really need to get into the head space of owning the feelings of males and
Yeah.
beyond. So great, great, great. Thank you, thank you. I always say that today is in this crisis mode, but we are being more vocal when it comes to mental health. And the reality is that our Black, brown, and queer communities are hurting, and
Yeah.
so raising awareness of the importance of providing resources in mental health for men and all pronouns is so important, that we exercise and let them know that self-care is very important. So can you tell us on your, let's go to back, because you had a career before podcasting. So let's touch there. What did you do before? Yes, I love it.
So before podcasting, I moved to Los Angeles to produce music. And in between that, I had a lot of just odd jobs, trying to pursue my dreams as well as pay my rent. So I worked everywhere from Nike to tutoring, and the last job that turned into like a somewhat of a career for me was education. I was a substitute teacher, and the last school that I subbed at asked me to be their permanent music teacher, and it was perfect because I was, like I said, I was pursuing music, doing education, so it was like to combine those two worlds for me felt amazing. And it was like in the beginning of that pursuit, I also started a podcast, and honestly, that came about from therapy being too expensive for me. I used to go to therapy, and I've been in and out, but at the time it was too expensive and I needed a space to still express myself, and podcasting was that thing.
And a lot of people are saying that because the therapy is expensive, and
It
some
is.
of the benefits package is not extensive enough to be able to afford the additional needs. I mean, that's just reality, and that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually have my heart tug, my passion. I love me some music. Before we went live, I had to put on my music, gear me up. I can,
Yeah.
some beats can kind of hype me up. And I believe that there is a true need for our communities to provide the arts,
For
for
sure.
our youth. Oh my God. I stayed in choir. I
Yeah.
stayed I was in competition and and all of that. I loved singing
Uh,
classical music.
Honestly, that's our for me, that was my first mental health coping skill. You know, when I think about
Yeah.
it, before I knew anything about therapy or any of that other stuff, I was making music to get out of my head. I was making music to, relieve some of the overly complex feelings that I couldn't express in just one word of feeling happy or sad. Like being able to express, I feel good, but I feel sad right now as well. Like music was that only place at one time that I felt like I was able to do that.
That's me. I get it from my mama though. I mean, it
Oh,
was
nice.
a lot a lot of weekends when you wake up and you heard that music, you knew it was time to clean. You
Yeah.
get off that bus, after school, and you heard the music like 6 houses down. That was my mama. You knew it was time to
Yeah.
clean.
Right. That's hilarious. I have a question. What is a song that you hear that makes you think of cleaning up? Because for me, my mom would
Anita
always listen to
Baker,
Crystal.
Rapture of
Okay.
Love. Anita Baker.
Soon as it come on, you feel like you got to just start cleaning up.
I do. I just smell the bleach, the Clorox, the
That's
Pine
hilarious.
Sol, all mixed up, almost about to die in the bathroom because you can't breathe. But that toilet was clean.
Right.
Yes,
That's
that was.
funny.
Yes, yes. It is so. So when I think about music, it really brings me into alignment, and that's why part of my passions is making sure that our communities don't lose that kind of focus on getting our
Yeah.
kids involved in arts. I love poetry as well. I love writing. You're a fellow author as well. And most of the times, it's us kids that really, I don't know about you, but I know about me. It was me not kind of feeling like I belonged,
Yeah.
kind of going through some things in my inner household and traumas and stuff, and this is the focus point that I was able to go to. And growing up, I was always told that I sound a certain way, that I didn't sound like I was Detroit and X, Y, and Z. And because I did sing classical, it was that kind of outward kind of thing, but I still had music to lean on.
Yeah.
And in other ways, it's like when I tell people I write in the rise and falls and tones, like I see symbols when I write. It's kind of awesome. I think I missed something.
That's really cool. And you know what? When I would try to teach my kids in that way as well. Like I would try to get them to associate sounds with colors and with shapes, teaching them how to
Mhm.
use their imagination to create a song by using different shades of colors and being able to sing it back, and seeing kids
Yes,
connect tones to colors and shapes is really beautiful. It's
it
a
is.
it's a complex concept for some people, but I think it expands our minds in a way.
I love a good crescendo when it comes to poetry. Oh,
Yeah.
when I rise and you just open and it just bursts. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So,
Yeah.
how long did you teach for? And you were in elementary?
Yes, I was an elementary school music teacher. I did it for 5 years and I actually quit last year. Just because, like I said, I've always been one foot in, one foot out with my creative endeavors. And I really needed to know for myself that I could give myself 100% in doing this. And, thank
Yeah.
God that, I took a leap and I flew, and I've been flying ever since. And that's not to say that it's easy at all, but I just know that this is something that I've been passionate about um my entire life. And no matter what job I've had, I've never felt as passionate about it as I have my creativity. So it's like, why not really truly go for this if I really believe that in my heart? And if not, let it go. And no pun
Yeah.
intended.
I, now, are you what you consider yourself a music producer? Is that what I read?
When I was younger, I thought that's what I was. I thought I was a music producer, but I really feel like a what is it, a multidisciplined or a
Hmm.
polymyth of
Hmm.
sorts. Because I feel like any creative medium that I get to work in, I don't I don't worry about if I'm doing it good or bad. I just do it,
You just
and
do
it ends up working out that I have my own style in everything that I do. So I would consider myself more of an artist than a music producer because, when I was younger, that's all I wanted to be. But now I write songs. Now you know, I
You
rap,
do
I
the dance.
sing, I do
Okay.
everything. And I really follow my feelings. I really follow what feels good to me.
Okay. And I'm sure that that was the therapeutic kind of centering that helped in
It
many
really
ways.
was. It really was. When I first started out, doing the instrumental stuff for me was my way of expressing those feelings, my way of getting those feelings out without having to put words to them. And I think podcasting actually brought me back to the space of music to feel like, okay, now I can put words to these because podcasting has forced me to articulate myself in ways that music probably didn't allow at the time. So I
Yeah.
think I use every space that I get as a building block to continue to learn more and take to other spaces.
Now let's dive into that. Podcasting was the next step for you. Share with us the inspiration behind that because I know we all got a story.
Whew. So
Let's get comfortable because I know it's interesting.
yeah. So I started out, so going back pre-podcasting, like I said, I was going to therapy for a while. My insurance covered it. If I'm breaking it down bare bone, we're gonna go all the way. My
Hmm.
insurance covered my therapy for a while. I went for about 4 years, just really trying to navigate where was I at as an adult because I was 26 years old. I didn't know just what was happening in life, where I was at. I had just recently came out and was dealing with understanding my own sexuality while sharing that with other people. I was out of my first relationship. I had a lot going on in my life. And
Hmm.
the therapy, like I said, when I quit my job, because like I said, I've always been in and out of a job in pursuing freelance, something, audio, music,
Hmm.
whatever it was. And then I go back to a job. And I was in that phase of not having a job. So I didn't have insurance. And I had done enough work in therapy where I was realizing how much saying things out loud was helping me because I didn't really talk to a lot of people. People would talk to me, but I wouldn't talk to a lot of people. And I saw like just the high that I would get from expressing myself and also what I would learn and gain from doing it. So I told my friends, I was just like, hey, I still need a space to talk because I think I went a couple of weeks without the therapy and I felt the difference. And
Yeah.
one of my best friends, we would always record ourselves while we have conversations. And
Oh.
I had pitched it to two friends, and one of them was like, "Yeah, I'll do this with you." So started out doing it with a friend who was my co-host, and when life got busy, um, we had to focus on our respective parts of our lives, and he had a family, a child, and yeah,
And he was
he
in
had to focus
ministry,
on
is
his.
that correct?
He sure was, and
Yeah, I'm nosy. I always do. So I said, who am I bringing on here? And I loved it because I could
yeah,
really be. You and I are more alike than you know. That
yeah,
we reach back to that therapeutic thing. For me, it was music and even crafting. I thought I was going
yeah,
to do all things craft. People said, when is your YouTube starting? Or I was doing designing for weddings and stuff like that. And little did I know, everything that I did kept bringing me back to sharing my voice. But
wow,
it's oftentimes, when we don't think we're going to be accepted. For me, it was, I don't know how people are going to take me and my experience, my traumas, my truth, my walk, you
yep,
know? So it delayed it. And then you get to a point in life and you say, okay, I can't, maybe I can't afford therapy. What can I do on my own to bring happiness and joy to my own life? Despite it all, and I'm not sure that's exactly what you. How can I create happiness for me? How can I? It's the art of letting go.
right, right. And that's the beautiful thing is like sharing your journey and figuring out life, figuring things out. Like it's somebody out there, and music may not be as palatable as listening to your voice. You know, like somebody may hear your music and be like, I don't connect to this, but just listening to you talk, we hear humans talk every day. So,
Yeah.
you know, you sharing your journey, it's one person out there that's gonna say, you know what, that really helped me, or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. And you know, I really want to see more people express themselves in this way,
Yeah.
because you know, we can all look at one thing. Like we could look at this water bottle, for example, and your perspective is going to be different than mine. Somebody else may listen to our perspective and formulate their own, and
Mhm.
it's like you build a whole ecosystem. So if we're putting the right things out into the world, if we're talking about mental health, we're talking about inspiration and stuff like that, and it keeps growing, like it's going to really touch people. So that's beautiful to hear that that's how you got started. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. I remember in my early 20s, I had just came home from Alabama State, and I'm from Detroit originally, and I was sitting at home, and I'm married, and I'm looking for jobs and stuff, and I've always been geared for customer service because of people. I don't know, it's something about this voice. Everybody have always said something about this voice, and so in order to pay for school a semester, I was actually a 900 girl. I did.
Wow.
I did. And
Wow.
I was one of the leading ones because of this voice.
Wow.
So
That's really cool.
it is cool because I have 20 years in HR consulting, and it's amazing that we become closed, we become cornered off in what we think society is okay in society, or because we feel as if we can't show different things, or go against the grain of everybody else, and really come out and say what we've done, who we are, or what we
Yeah.
stand to. And I've always known that my voice was something special. So when
I
it
have a
came,
question for you.
mhm,
Um, how did you become confident in your voice? Because I meet a lot of people that do have great voices, including myself. And I wasn't always confident in my voice. I really didn't like how it sounded. But you know, where do you pull from? Like, where did you find that confidence in, like, accepting, like, oh, I do have a good voice?
honest, honestly, it was several things. I found my mother at 44, deceased.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry to hear
at
that.
the time, yeah, at that time, I think I was 29. I had hit a
Wow.
lot of things in my past as a trauma, going through trauma and situations in my household. And I become like just a fragment of who I knew I was. But I had
Mm-hmm.
this connection to God, and I won't lie. I had this connection to God, and even though I didn't have like all of this formal instruction and going to the church, it was like something pulling. I've always come out and read different poetry stories. I'll put out motivational blurbs, and I was hiding behind my voice all this time. God is in my ear saying, "Share
Mm.
your voice, share your voice." And so I didn't want to do it. So I would cover it up, and say, I'll put out a message here. That's a voice. That's a message, and then, I would do the creative things to get me. I think it was very therapeutic. That was the thing. I wanted God to shut up in my ear.
Ha. I understand that.
He said, I don't want you to write another dang old book. I need
Mm-hmm.
you to share your voice. So this is me being
Wow.
obedient, where I've been able to share my voice um the space of being in corporate America, but not the voice of really having exposure to people and bringing them out of a darkness, or self-awareness and owning who you are and being unapologetic about it. This is
Yeah.
me. I think my daughter, who enlightens me and us, because my husband was born in 59. I was born in, oh, jeez, he's going to cut me if I said that. He was 69. I was born in 76. So there's a lot of things that were pushed on us,
Yeah.
with oh my, and don't have no family that's Christian. Oh my God. You know, because
Yeah.
of who I am and what I've been through and things that I accept, I've been able to bring my children into awareness. So they're
Yeah.
able to educate me. My daughter's 16 and she's so awesome. She says, Mama, you can't say that. Or Mama, that's the wrong pronoun. Or Mama,
Yeah.
so it raises attention to me to say, you know what, things are changing. That was the bonus. So it was really, really several things that allowed me to really share my voice in this space and this platform that's mine. I
Yeah.
can say, I can do, I can be anything that I want. That's so
Of course.
empowering.
It is. And kind of going back to something you were saying about because the world is constantly changing. The world is constantly changing. And I think something that we all can do for each other is give each other grace. As you were saying that, I was thinking about when you mentioned the pronouns thing, I was thinking about when I came out and how some people had not a hard time, but there was an adapt and they had to adapt to
You
me.
don't have to understand it. You just got to
Exactly.
respect it.
And you know what? I feel like everybody respected, but I also had to respect, hey, I'm figuring this out myself. So I can't expect somebody else to have it figured out while I'm trying to figure it out as well. So,
Gotcha.
really providing grace to others and also, expecting and demanding, not even demanding, just you respect me, I respect you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we figure this out in our own individual times and collectively. And I think that's what really creates growth. You know what I mean? Because it could be challenging. Like I know for me, I used to get upset, like, man, like people, they need to just, but at the same time, I'm just getting to a place of accepting this. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
the younger, I think the younger generation is like, who they're very vocal. I
They are, and
mean,
that's a beautiful thing. I wish I was that courageous when I was young. You know
my
what I mean? So
my
I admire that.
16-year-old is a ally. We are all this is a household of allies, and even when I want to open up my mind to different things, and I ask her. I mean, she's vocal. She is very
Yeah.
vocal. She's friends with someone that's very um active when it comes to rights for transgender here in
Yeah.
Alabama. I love her so much. Oh my gosh, she is such a sweetie pie. She's been all
Yeah.
over the platforms and White House and stuff for
Wow.
just sharing awareness. And just I remember when I think my daughter was in 6th grade and she told me about her friend and then kind of opened up that she was transgender, and her parents was just like thankful of our
Yeah.
openness, and they traveled together and they spent a night together and
Yeah.
just be accepting. And,
And can I tell you, I appreciate hearing about your openness, especially being somewhere like Alabama, because I'm from Houston, but I live in California, and a lot of times people in California assume that the South is so this and so that. And it's like, nah,
and mind you,
everybody is an individual and open everywhere.
that,
Like it's not
that
like
is true.
that.
But let's just say I got here in 2018. I see a lot of things that are still wrong.
Yeah.
But we still have to spread awareness, all of
Yeah.
us, on being to encourage self acceptance of some, however they identify. That is so important. But yeah, oh my goodness, yeah, Alabama,
Yeah.
they still got a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot, and it's different because if I'm honest, I have been a part of that community as well. I can't be
Yeah.
a hypocrite,
Right.
you know. So it was very easy for me to sit down with my daughter and say, and well, I started very early because, of course, I was molested for since I was, I think, 2, but I know for
Oh
sure at
wow.
4 to 12. So I started these
Wow.
open conversations of that, and and the open door policy of being able to share any and everything for me.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. So you have these talks with your kids, and if they have feelings, then we have to address that and let it, and nurture the thoughts as they come, and be there as a support. And I think that's important. That I'm changing the view of parenting, so
Yeah.
it's easier to navigate life and being, aware and proud of who you are regardless. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
How how do you think parents can create space for kids to not only be open about like sexuality, but just to be open in general?
Uh, ditch what your mama and daddy taught you, what your
Mm.
granny and auntie taught you.
Mhm.
In a lot of cases, I'm a 76 baby,
Yeah.
and a lot of, and let's be real, a lot of things is kind of re-engineering what you were taught. Not saying that everything was bad, no, but you take of the good things and you realize what didn't work for you so that you can change it for your kids. It's being open and not beating them up because they share something, not being closed minded and saying, "Oh, it has to be this way in my house." I I did a Mother's Day special with my daughter, and we did talk about that. I asked her, what was different, and she said, "I feel free to come to you about
Wow.
anything."
That's
And that
beautiful.
makes the difference. That makes a difference.
Yeah.
I can even navigate, even though the kids have a lot more than what we had to go through with social media and this and that, and it's like, oh my God, I'm very hypersensitive. I probably ask her about 10 times a day, "Are you okay? How are we feeling today?
Yeah.
Who I need to beat up, girl?" Because I want to advocate for my kid,
Of course.
not
Yeah.
for who society wants them to be, who she wants to be. Point blank, period. Like it or
That's
not,
beautiful.
I'm gonna have a
Yeah.
whole and happy child.
I
Yes. So,
love that.
can you tell us about your podcast and who you kind of what your audience is like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to think when I first started doing this podcast, I really didn't care who listened to it, if I'm being totally honest. It was like this space is for me. If people get something out of it, they do. And as I started to do it, and I realized how much it was freeing me up to talk about, like just my sexuality. I started thinking, okay, this is gonna be for Black queer people and this and that. And it was totally opposite of that.
Yeah.
Um, I've had a lot of Black straight men reach out to me about just being a Black man that's open in my journey. I've had mothers reach out to me about, just their encounters with men and just self-value and stuff like that. So it's like I really think my audience are people who are on their own healing journey. So I like to call my audience self-healers because we're all really trying to heal ourselves and we all have different tools. And this is me sharing my tools, but I hope that people do reflect tools back to me that help them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, hello Audacity in of itself, um, brings a boldness to be
Yeah.
exactly who, to step out on faith, to share your message, your value that you have to add to the world. So I love that word, audacity, and I'll keep screaming that we're all audacious in God's vision, His view. We
Yes.
all have something to lend to the world, and so when we can have a deeper aspect to that and have the freedom to be who they are, I think a lot of people are hiding what they've done, who they are, how they feel, their wants. And I think, especially being a woman and being a part of that, well, grandma said you a bad girl if you experience this. And it's being able to own your sexuality and being okay with your wants and desires that is aligned with man. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or otherwise. So it's having that healthier sense of the world as long as you're healthy in your mind. And that's the thing that I want to nurture, and making sure that the overall health of you is satisfied. I think a lot of people do dive in some things because of the hurt that you experience through your journey in this life, and that can be unhealthy. It can lead you into a lot of trouble. But as long as you're doing things in a well space, in a good space of mind, and centering, and not making and pleasing other people, because that's what you have been accustomed to doing. So yes, it's freedom to be who you
Yeah.
are, and I love the avenues that people create, the platforms that people have in order for people to feel and be expressive in who they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know that a lot of people are dealing with identity crisis. And I just want you to provide some words of inspiration for anyone that may be dealing with, I'm feeling like an outcast. I'm feeling like maybe this is wrong, or maybe I won't be accepted. Can you provide any views? I know that you have more of an expertise um in just knowing what things, the thoughts that maybe some people may be having, more than I could give that kind of view. I can only speculate, but I will say that I tend to, I'm looking forward to having people on the show with different views and highlighting what things that they have come across, what barriers, what challenges, what inner things that they really have to scrub clean and say, you know what, this is me, like it or not.
Yeah. Um, something that I wish, and not that I wish that was given to me, but something I've acknowledged in my journey is really finding your tribe. Um, you know, I know there are times where it could feel like, you may feel alone or feel like, you don't belong, but then at the same time, there are people out there. This world is huge.
Mm-hmm.
um those people may not be your family, they may not be your current friend situation, but it's people out there. And something, and I will go back to something that somebody told me, is just to be open. I used to be very much so a loner. I've always had friends, but like I said, I haven't always been open in the way that I am today.
Oh,
And
I went through a separation. Like I hid so well. I had to go find it for me. And when God was in my ear, I said, home chick, you need to come out the corner."
yeah,
I did. It makes you retreat. I went
yeah,
into a long period of isolation, but no more.
yeah,
But I mean, it's the freest that you could ever feel, and just being yourself and
right.
surrounding yourself with people that just accept you for you.
Of course, people that pour into you, like, I'm sure you probably pour into a lot of people, but having those people that pour back into you and fill your cup, that's important.
I
Like,
think,
people
yes.
shouldn't just take from you.
Oh yeah, because we definitely get in that space too. Well, we're the
Yeah,
healers of the world. People take from us because we're so big-hearted. We want to empathize. We want to save people.
yeah, and I think the biggest thing to remember in that is that you can't help anybody if you're not 100%. So really taking care of yourself. And I know that could feel selfish at times, but if you're not good, nothing else is going to be good around you. So always checking in with yourself, having those tools that can really just keep you. It's like your car. You got to do maintenance on your car. You got to do maintenance on your mental as well.
Yeah, I do. I preach that all the time. I want to save people before 40s.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
do don't you want to save your good years.
Yeah.
So being selfish and denying access to you protects your mental health. It actually solidifies your peace. Your
Yeah.
peace, honey, protects your peace.
Mm-hmm.
You say that more. So I did have to get into this selfish mode. I did. But you get
Yeah.
into a selfish mode so that you should be able to get in that mode so that you can work on self and come out a better individuals. No, I can't do that. No, I can't help you. No, I can't go there. This
Yeah.
phone ringing? Nah, not today. So that feels
That's
good.
real.
I tell
Yeah.
people to say no. Oh my God, when you can say no and have this smile, girl, no.
And you know what? For me, it was really being comfortable with saying no and not feeling obligation or guilt afterwards. Like
Yeah.
once you can release that, it's so much easier.
Oh yeah, I say no better than nobody else.
That's funny.
I do. I do it. It really has it's brought this happier life where I can focus on me. It
Yeah.
also, raises your boundaries,
Yeah.
and boundaries
Mhm.
are something that we have to put in place for our mental wellness. And I teach other people to do that. I've been married for 17 years. And so there was a point where my husband was so awesome that he gave me space. It
That's
was the
beautiful.
sexiest thing that a man has ever given me. Is space
Yeah.
to get me together. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I said, "Oh, I appreciate him." I did have to realize that the space that we gave each other, that he didn't have to wait or conform to it or say yes. He didn't, but he knew me, the
Yeah.
total Shay, what I had been through, what I'm battling, in order for me to give me that space. And even though sometimes we do some things that are selfish, once if you're doing right by you, if you're fixing the problem inside, then then you'll come back to to what really means important, and that was our family. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very happy that I had that person to understand. But before him, who child? God
That's
gave me
funny.
somebody. So, a lot of people are stuck in this space with people that are me people and very
Yeah.
toxic. And that's a part of creating boundaries and the art of letting go.
Right. Yeah. I think it's a practice. I think you have to practice it every day in order to
Yeah,
do it. Like I thought, oh, if I let this go, I've moved past it, but stuff just comes up and you just have to continue to just have those tools in place to get through it.
right. And I want to add for our viewers that's out there that is looking to start their podcast, go to his website, and I'm going to put it up there. I was like, oh, he coaching? He dropping
Yes, yes. I'm
nuggets.
telling you, I want everybody to have a podcast. Like, the only thing that makes me special in this is that I'm actually doing it. A lot of people think about
Right,
it, but I want to help everybody do it. So yeah,
right.
please take the podcasting course, all
Yeah,
that good stuff. I give every single tool I have. I give everything. I'm not holding back no game. I don't want to make this seem hard to people. I want people to feel
mm,
confident in doing it. Like a lot of these courses almost try to scare you out of it. I don't want to scare people out of doing this.
yeah. Yeah. And I'll say, right now, that price is reasonably made
I
for
appreciate that.
individuals. I said right now because I can see you growing. So go ahead, jump on the bandwagon now. These are for the 2023 limited prices.
Yes, yes.
We're about to
Yesterday's
wrap up
price
in
will not
so
be
many
today's
ways.
price.
Exactly.
I appreciate
So
that.
give our audience all the ways to find you.
Oh man, you can find me on all social media at the Art of Letting Go podcast. Website, the art of letting go podcast.com. You could find some of my music out there under Mike Brown, usually at justmikebrown.com. But it's on all the streaming services and stuff like that. Yeah, get in touch with me. Like I said, I am doing courses, but just if you just want to reach out and just want to, you know,
Yeah.
just ask a
Yeah.
question. Like I will not charge for any questions. Like I will not turn anybody away because, like I said, I want to be disruptive and I want to see everybody with a podcast.
Right.
Like everybody has a Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
like it should be that easy for us to share audio messages. It
Yes.
doesn't have to be an hour. You can record 3 minutes, but I just want to teach people how to do this.
But it's the consistency that I'll say.
Yes. No, you are absolutely right. You are
It is
absolutely
the
right.
work that you have to give. Because coming from the HR consultant space, whoo, honey.
You are absolutely right. And that's one of the things I
I
try to explain to people. Like, you could have all the tools, but to really grow, you got to stay consistent. I mean, Kobe Bryant doesn't become Kobe Bryant without practicing.
that is true. I hate to say that something is easy, but it was easy for me to create this shirt. It says "Kiss My Audacity." That's my thing.
Yeah.
Kiss your, kiss my audacity. It was easier, but when I tell you the content creation, the graphics behind all of this, the putting out, the being able to connect and ask the right questions so that these shows continue to inform and also be a little funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. I'm going to reach out to. We want him back, y'all. We're
Look, I'm definitely down to come back. I really enjoyed this today. I normally don't get to be on this side of it, so I really love
yeah.
this. I'm
Or
always
I want to come
hosting,
on.
and
Yeah,
of
I want to
course,
come
yeah,
over
for
to yours
sure,
too, so I can
for
actually tell the
sure.
crew. Shane Marie, the whole experience. We got to keep this going and making sure that our public is informed. Thank you, Mike Brown, for joining us today. He
Thank you
coming
so much
back,
for
y'all.
having me.
No
Yes, and thank you so
problem.
much for having me.
No problem, no problem. All right, because I'm like energized and I got all this I say big energy, honey, big energy. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, of course, for another episode of Hello Audacity podcast. We are heating up. I want you a part of that. You have a voice, a testimony, a story, a product. God gave you something. I want you on it. Okay. As I always say, your audacity never ends, but this show does for now. Bye, guys.